What is going on, Facebook? What's up, Pursuit Group? My name's Coach Stefan, and I'm the owner of Pursuit Health and Performance. If you don't know, we do a live every Thursday at 3:45 MST. I think right now Arizona's like Mountain Standard, but it's also Pacific. But anyways, at the time this recording is 3:45 here. So this topic is mindset based more than anything else. We do have, by the way, if you're like, well, I want to know specifics about like training and nutrition and like, give me the secret sauce. This is part of the secret sauce because if you can get your mindset right, I actually think you can accomplish anything. But we also have a podcast with 75 episodes, and there's a lot on training and nutrition and sleep and recovery. And I'm going to drop the link actually here. Let me go drop it for you guys so you can go watch it. Let's see if it will let me do it. Okay. It won't let me do it. But anyways, you can go drop, I'll drop it later on. But it's called The Everyday Pursuit. It's a podcast that I started about like a little over a year ago. And actually today's topic is based on episode 14, which I probably need to re-listen to get myself fired up. But the title is called Your Excuses Are Killing You, right? And that's kind of, I think, the theme of my life probably back in 2015. I knew that the excuses that I had in my head about why I wasn't where I wanted to be in life, why I couldn't do the things that I wanted to do, was the single thing, or like multiple excuses, right? Conglomerate of things that was holding me back from everything that I wanted to do. And here's how I know that this isn't just me. Over the last 2.5, 3 years, we've had Pursuit. I have seen hundreds of people come through and make transformations. And before they committed to the program, these were people that kept making excuse after excuse after excuse after excuse until the pain point, right, emotionally or maybe even physically, got so bad where they're like, enough, I'm done. And it blows my mind that people have to get to such a bad point in their life till they start doing shit about it. Like, right. And look, I'm not innocent. I've done that in my marriage. I've done that in like my relationship with my son as a parent. I've done that with my faith. I've done that with my careers before. I am not innocent, but that's why I'm sharing this knowledge with you guys. Is I really do believe the excuses you tell yourself is basically a crutch that you use. And this is the thing about excuses. If we're really just truly honest, excuses are masks. Okay. When we have an excuse, we want to wear this mask and we want external validation from everybody else because it makes us feel good because we know our excuses are actually complete BS. I'll give you a real life example. If you're like, I'm really busy. I used to use this one a lot. I'm busy. I don't have time for the gym. I'm busy. I got kids. I'm busy. Everybody is kind of busy. And there's a lot of people that will go, oh, dude, totally get it, right? And so when people are overweight or they're out of shape or they're not where they want to be, and this is not just fitness, financially, whatever, using the excuse I'm busy is very easy to get somebody to have like a confirmation bias because they realize that like, I'm busy too. I get it, right? So I used to use that as an excuse. I'd be like, yeah, I'm not doing this. I'm just so busy. And people would be like, yeah, dude, I get it. I'm busy too. And so it'd make me feel good. Like they were giving me a pass, but I wanted to say it out loud so I would get validated. So it made me feel good, right? It's almost like the bully on the playground, right? The bully doesn't just want to bully. He wants to get other people with him. So they're like, that kid's a loser. And he's like, don't you think so? Yeah, you're a loser, right? And now because that person is picking on the other person, it's that external validation or that confirmation bias. We do that. The excuses that we say are not just internal. And I'm going to get to that in a second. They're actually very external. I can't tell you how many clients that I've talked to that said they talked to their spouse or whatever, and they say, I don't have money. Some people take ownership, but they don't. They go, I'm just lazy. I'm just unmotivated. That's also an excuse. And although that might be true, okay, so you are lazy, right? Or you're showing lazy characteristics. You're showing yourself that you're unmotivated. What are you going to do about it? And some people use that and they go, like almost it's almost like somebody that's overweight being like, oh yeah, I'm fat, blah, blah, blah. And they kind of make fun of themselves to make themselves feel comfortable. It's the same concept. I've been coaching for a very long time. There's a lot of psychology that goes into the way that people talk about the actions they take and don't take. the excuses they make or don't make. I promise you. And something that I used to do is I used to do this external validation for a lot of things. I used to say I'm busy. I used to say that it's that like the only reason I don't fill in the blank, the only reason I don't go to marriage counseling is because it's stupid. It doesn't help. The only reason I don't do this specific thing with my kid is because like whatever, I don't want to, right? We say these things and they're masks and they're there to protect us. But here is the real challenge. The real challenge, and I want you to do this right now. Please, if you're watching this, like this is just hear me out. I want you to pretend that you're alone. You might be alone in the car, at home, whatever. And I want you to be 1,000% honest with yourself, like 1,000% honest with yourself. It's very hard to do, by the way. Like it's really hard to like take all your masks off and be super truthful and take complete extreme ownership of like all those excuses. And I want to say something. I'm actually validating that you might be busy. I'm validating that you might be more lazy than other people. I want to validate that. I don't want to be like, oh, those are just BS excuses. No, I want to validate it. But also, you know, and I don't know, like, you know what's like a mask and that you just kind of use that front. And you might have been wearing that mask for 5, 10, 15, 20 years. Okay. This might be a new mask. But I want you to like try to remove those masks. It's like woo-woo as that sounds. It is true. We carry these things because we have to put things in boxes and wear these masks to function through society. It's very dangerous to our ego, right? If we're always 100% brutally honest, because we might not actually like who we are. And if we don't like who we are and we don't like the things that we like where we are in life, whether that's fitness, relationship, you know what we're kind of forced to do? It's such an uncomfortable feeling that we have to change it. And a lot of people are afraid of the hard work. So they just keep the mask on because if they could just play pretend and and you say, I'm just busy. And then your friends are like, yeah, dude, I get it. Yeah, I'll do it next year. I have this going on. And when my business gets here, when my kid grows up, you know, he's so young that, you know, maybe when they're 2 or 3 and they go to school, you know, I'll start going back in the gym. That's still a mask. You're still using that. Are there people that have young kids that are super fit? Sure. So instead of looking for excuses, right? It is an excuse. It's a reason not to. Instead of looking for excuses and having this like social confirmation bias from your friends and your family or whatever, those are the worst people. They're going to tell you exactly what you want to hear, which is like probably why people get a coach. And I'm not rude to any of our clients, but I'm very honest. Like there's people that are fit, that are busy and have kids and whatever. There's people in our program that work 5 12-hour shifts or 4 a week, plus have a second part-time job, plus have 3 kids and are jacked and shredded. And you might go like, well, yeah, but they're different. They're genetics. No. It's just the fact that they prioritize that. And that might not be super important to you. And that's okay. But that's where the ownership comes from. Like, you know what? I am actually busy. I am lazy, but like, I'm also not prioritizing where I want to be. Conversation with yourself. Okay. Is that important? Am I willing to do what other people do that are really busy and stay in shape? Am I willing to like maybe not have as much free time and not do this and not do that? And then you can have that conversation with yourself. You're like, you know what? Maybe that goal is not as important. And that's okay. I'm not telling you a goal has to be important, but your excuses are freaking killing who you are. And the more, this is the scariest part, the more you use certain excuses, you actually start layering masks. And then you don't even know your own bullshit. Like that is the hardest thing. And I've been there. I had been to the point where I didn't even really know what was like true or not because I use so many excuses and it really becomes who you are. Like I've talked to clients that say, I'm lazy, I'm unmotivated, I'm an introvert, and that's just not me. And I'm like, well, I wonder like how long you've been telling yourself that story. And so you've bought into that. And again, there might be some truth to that, like from their perspective specifically, but like, is that really who you are? And if it is, do you want to continue to be that person? Most people are like, well, no. Okay, well, then we got to change it. And here's how we're going to change it. But I don't want to do that. Right. And he's like, man, you got to pick your poison. It's a double-edged sword. You want to stay where you are? That's painful. Or do you want to change? That's painful too. But the worst thing to do is excuses because it's this comfort cycle you'll never get out of. And that's how people get 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 100 pounds plus overweight. I'm telling you right now, it's excuses that, and usually this is, people are so smart. You are smart because this is what happens. This might sound weird. you actually have internal conversations with yourself in your head on a daily basis, right? Sounds kind of weird. Like, I'm not saying you're crazy, but like, you have those conversations. You know that you know yourself. Okay. Stay with me here. You know that you know yourself really well. So you actually try to trick your subconscious by having excuses that have legitimacy to them. There actually are things that have a lot of truth. Because if it was like something completely stupid, you know what you'd do? You'd call yourself out. And if you call yourself out and you call yourself on your own BS, guess what it would take? You to take ownership. You'd be like, nah, that's not true, Stefan. All right, guess I got to do something about it. And we know that. We're so intelligent. And so because we know that, what we do is we think of excuses that actually are like, have a lot of realism to them. Like the busy one. Are you busy? Yes, I'm legitimately busy. And so when I tell myself that, I can buy into that excuse when I'm having that internal conversation with myself much easier than I'm lazy. I know I'm not lazy. Am I busy? Yep, I'm always busy. And you know what? I purposefully make myself busy. And I see people do this. Well, why do you purposefully make yourself so busy if that's the one thing holding you back? You want to know the answer? Avoidance. They don't want to go to the gym. They don't want to do this because it's hard, because it's challenging. And that's the mask, right? I'm using the busy one because I know you guys are in the community where you work long shifts and you have this. Everybody's busy. Okay. Everybody's busy. And it's not a competition. If you're more busy than your neighbor, your sister, your brother, your friend, your spouse, fine. That's probably the life you chose. You probably chose to have children. You probably chose to have this career. And like, if you didn't, and you're just in this terrible situation, start fixing it. Start taking action to fix it. If you're so busy, I've talked to people that are like, I work 6 days a week, 16-hour days, and I literally have no time. Okay, well, that's your fault. You need to start prioritizing. And that's another excuse, right? Like, I work so much, I'm so busy. But why did you create a life that was so demanding that you had to totally disregard your health and fitness? Do you think that's positive? If that's a life you want to live, then go ahead. But this is what I'm saying, right? People, the things I hear is, oh, another one I hear, I don't have money. Okay, you go. Number one, you don't have to get a coach. Number two, there's a lot of amazing information on the internet. You do not need this whole convoluted plan, okay? You need the basics and you need to do it consistently. But you know why it's really hard for people to stay consistent? Is because you guys use really intelligent, really good, cultivated and curated excuses with yourself. I mean, think about that. Do you think you tell yourself excuses that you know are just completely like irrelevant? Like, it's not even true at all? I don't. I mean, maybe sometimes, but most of the time I tell myself like a pretty legit excuse if I want to get away with it. Right. And it's this self-negotiation, and people do it. I know I need to go to the gym. I know, you know what? Not a big deal, Stefan. We're going to go tomorrow. Even though you probably know you're not going to go tomorrow, why do we even have that conversation with ourselves? Again, it's a confirmation bias with ourselves, right? It's like you're making that negotiation with yourself. And you might do this with your spouse. Like, oh, why didn't you go to the gym? Oh, babe, no, I'm going to go tomorrow. I'm just really busy. And for me, I used to use so many different excuses. And a lot of these conversations were internal, but I used to use excuses with myself on why I didn't do other things. Because I was actually always really into like health and fitness. I use an excuse also for avoidance. If you watch any of my podcasts or any of my training, I used to drink a lot in the military. And my excuse was, I'm bored. There's nothing to do. Everybody goes out. What else am I supposed to do on Friday? Like I used all these other excuses too. And again, I used them to my ex, which was a partier. So of course they're going to give me external validation, and to other people that like to go out. And every time that I felt a little bit guilty, you know what I did? I talked to it out loud about my friends so they would validate. I'm like, yeah, I probably shouldn't be drinking so much. But like, dude, what else? I mean, what else do you do on a Friday? And a lot of people would say, yeah, dude, I mean, like I want to go out. Like, yeah, what's the big deal? Like, just think about what you do in your head. And most people will do a lot of external validation to bias their excuses to make themselves feel good about it, because nobody wants to have an excuse and actually know it's a BS excuse, because that doesn't feel good. Remember, if you do that, it means you probably are going to take action or it's going to eat at you. So for me, I would tell people purposefully, now that I'm looking back, I would tell people that I knew that were going to be okay with my excuse. And then I started getting people in my life that called me out on my shit. And it was the best decision I've ever made in my life. And for the first time, people go, yeah, no, nope, nope, not valid. And I'm like, well, what do you mean? I mean, I'm really busy. They go, yeah, sure. But you could still do this. And it was when I first got my business coach. I was busy. I was working full time as a project manager because the gym shut down in COVID. I was working, dude, I literally was so busy. I was training people out of my garage. I was doing like in-person hybrid training. I had a couple online clients. Like I was freaking grinding. Like I started from the bottom, like legit. And I was very busy. And I remember when I got my business coach and I was slacking and I wasn't doing my program and I wasn't like reaching out to people and doing the things. And I told them, I'm busy. I got a kid. I got a wife that's in nursing school. I'm working 2 jobs. I'm getting a certification. I was actually very busy. Like, and I'm not just saying that, like I was working probably 75 hours plus a week, easily, plus training, plus doing all this other stuff, family, all that. So I think everybody would agree that I'm busy. And that's a scary position to be in because I knew it. And I'm like, you have 2 decisions. You could just tell people like you're busy. And the family, sometimes the worst is the worst because they love you. And my family's like, nah, like that totally makes sense. Like you're so busy. If I would have called my mom and said, I'm really struggling with this, but like, you know what? I'm just so busy. She'd have been like, yeah, honey, don't even beat yourself up. You are busy. That's the opposite of what I needed. I needed somebody to call me out on my shit and be like, you are busy, but this is a dream of yours and you need to get it done. Let's look for solutions and stop making excuses. Like that is what I needed. People call certain people. You need to actually call the wrong people, right? You need to call people that are going to do this for you. And when I did that and my business coach called me out and said that they put me in a position like, dude, I've worked with people that are just as busy than you and they've hit all these financial goals and they're getting all these clients. What's your excuse? And I'm like, but I'm busy. And he's like, cool, then don't do it. Then keep doing what you're doing. Don't do the program. And then all these other people will crush it and all your dreams will just fade away. And I kind of felt like shit. And I'm like, oh, dude, that sucks. And he's like, yeah. And while you're sitting there making the excuse that you're too busy, all these other people that are willing to put in the work are going to be doing better. And you can watch from the sidelines and scroll through social media and be very envious of them and say, I wish I would have, and I wish I would have, and have all these regrets. And I was like, damn, I was so uncomfortable with that feeling. That to me, I knew that I couldn't accept that. And I actually saw people that were doing better than me. And I knew I was better than them, which might sound egotistical. But for me, I was like, I'm a better coach than that person. I'm a better trainer. I'm more knowledgeable and from a very confident standpoint. And I'm like, they're just doing better because they're doing something that I'm not, and they've been doing it longer and I need to learn. So I had to totally humble myself and take complete ownership and start. And it was uncomfortable and it was a lot of hard work and it sucked and it was busy. And it was weird because I couldn't use that excuse anymore that I used for so many years. I just had to like actually take action. And then the uncomfortable actually became very bearable. And then it became the normal. And now I don't fight working a lot and I don't fight a little bit of the grind. And then you know what? Eventually it actually wasn't that much work because I got to that point because I put in the work and I stopped making freaking excuses. And until you can do that, you're going to struggle and you're going to hold on to these really comfortable, beautiful excuses your whole life. And you're going to tell everybody and you're going to have these conversations with yourself and you're going to hold on to these excuses that have valid points to them because that's where it's safe. And that is the perfect recipe for disaster. That's how people wake up and are like, how the hell did I get here? In a bad way, right? Because they went through their whole life just like holding on to these freaking excuses, dude, just like patching, using Band-Aids. And this is my call for you to like take ownership. It's your life, it's your body, it's your responsibility. Okay? With everything, with your relationship if you're in one, with your faith, with your finances, with your physical health, with your mental health. And I love you. I love what I do. I want to help people. But nobody is going to care about you as much as you care about you. I really do believe that. And I'm not saying like that's 100% true 100% of the time, but I really understood that like if you can be your own advocate, people actually want to help you more. People want to help people that want help. Understand that. I have a brother, I love him to death. He's the black sheep of the family. It's very hard. He's very spiteful and hateful when he doesn't want people's help. It's hard. Like, you know what I mean? Like eventually, what do? There's like, pray for him. I don't know. So for me, I'm like, you know what? I know that if I'm working on me, people help. And I can tell you right now that since I started doing the hard work, I've had more opportunities and more doors open in my life in all areas than I ever have. And I think people can see like, wow, this guy's putting in the work. This guy's okay. He can mess up. He can take ownership. And other people that have been through that want to help me. And I have mentors in every area of my life, guys, every area of my life. And that's why I'm so passionate about coaching, because I think it's going to get you where you want faster. But what a good coach should do is call you out on your bullshit excuses and not let you own them, because you've been owning them and you've been wearing these masks for years and years and years. And at some point, you got to rip it off. And if it's been on for a long time, it's going to be quite painful, but it's the only way you can continue to progress in your life. I really do believe that. So I know this was a lot to take in. I think about this stuff a lot because coaching psychology and sociology is really important to me. And I think that you guys being able to get through this one barrier will open up doors in I'm literally every area of your life. Every area. Now I'm here just to coach you on fitness generally, but I care about all your areas. I want you to crush it in every area of your life. I do think that starts with your physical body, because I think your physical makes your helps your mental. And then obviously if you have your physical and your mental, then you can do things like this and you can work through those instead of just going through life and being busy and just waking up one day and being like, how the hell did I get here? Right. So I love you guys. I appreciate it. And I'll talk to you next week.